Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back to Celeste. We're doing Grabless 70%. It's very impromptu, but hopefully it can go pretty well.
Sure, it'll be fun.
Yeah, so I'm ready to start whenever. Okay. Yeah, this category uses variant mode to disable grabbing, so yeah, that'll be on. Like countdown. Okay, go in 3, 2, 1.
So have you already given a marathon rundown sort of for Celeste here, Vapo? Or did you want to go like over the basics of that again?
May as well go for basics again.
Yeah, okay. So for Celeste in general, you got a jump, a dash, and usually you would have a climb or grab button as well. But the whole point of Grabless here is to avoid using that. Well, you still actually do get a few uses for it, but that's awfully specific. Because with the Grabless variant here, you can't climb things, really, is the way that works out. You can still activate blocks because you need grab to do that, but yeah, avoiding climbing means that you have to do all sorts of alternative ways of platforming. A lot of things because of just general speedrun movement. You don't need to do many climb jumps because there are just lots of ways to save dashes that makes things easier than it normally would be. Yeah, it's definitely a unique run. A lot of differences from normal any percent having to go Grabless.
Yeah, pretty much most rooms have to change at least something. So one of the main techs you're seeing Grabless specifically is neutral jumping, which is basically where climbing walls without stamina or grabbing at all. Yes, it's very useful in this particular.
Yeah, if there's any wall or anything that you would normally need to climb in the speedrun, then being able to use neutral jumps is pretty much your only saving grace at times that makes playing Grabless actually possible. And we'll see later on. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, you go.
Okay, I was gonna say you'll see later on that there are certain parts that are very nearly impossible to actually finish playing in Grabless, but thankfully all of 80% is still possible to do with the Grabless variant.
Yeah. So is all my berries. I believe 100% is not possible, Grabless.
Yeah, I think
Not.
there's some B-sides or maybe C-sides that are not possible without grabbing. I don't remember the exact levels, admittedly.
Yeah, I think 7B is one of them.
Okay, yeah, it was probably something in like updraft or okay, so downdraft in 7B would be, yeah, that makes sense. There's parts where you would just not be able to make it. Yeah, anyway, for old site here though, you got the dream blocks that you can jump out of and refresh your dash after going through them. Nice little bit of movement text, being able to combine both jump and dashes out of them. My brain's a little bit more frazzled than I thought. We'll try and catch up on actually what I should be talking about here.
I'm rather frazzled as well, it's fine.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of this, I believe, in Old Site and City here has been pretty standard and very similar to what you see in normal 80% speedruns, just some really minor changes to account for the fact that you can't climb jump. But when it really starts to get interesting is like a few parts of Resort get a little bit extra awkward, right?
Yeah. But
Okay,
Ridge in
so
particular is really hard.
Ridge in particular? Oh yeah, because yeah, there's some very, very particular annoying spots in Ridge. So a couple chapters from now, we'll see some of the more annoying parts of Grabless start to show up.
Yeah, but his old site fairly similar to normal.
Oh, nice and smooth so far. Oh, and you said you were doing Mirror Temple and Reflection A-sides for both of them for this?
Yeah. Technically, both are faster and doable grapplers, but they're really difficult.
Yeah, if I recall, there's some weird specific tech that you have to do in 5B. That, like, it's the vertical room, isn't it? Going up for the mirror.
Yeah, you have to like diagram it over the spinners, but it's really hard to do that. Well, over the spikes.
Alright, I'm going through Resort here now. Main difference from the previous two levels, you got all these dust bunnies that are the new sort of obstacles around here. So everything's gonna be... There's lots of rooms where you have these constant cycles going on that you have to be careful of. Huge mess up just right here. It starts to get extra messy from having to do all the all the movement without grabbing, right?
Yeah, this checkpoint especially has a lot of just awkward movement, and that's made it a lot more awkward by not being able to grab.
Because it's like a lot of extra tight corridors in here and lots of little spaces where it's really convenient to be able to climb, jump, or corner boost. So you have to like work around that in some awkward ways. And do you do the normal like any percent routing here? I see that you're starting with chests at least, but is
yeah, normal
hooks and
90%.
talents fine? Okay. I didn't remember if it was one of the ones that was made more difficult.
I think normal at 90% is actually the easiest, because chests without the extra books is really hard grabless.
Oh, because you can't sit on the spot below the dust bunnies in that second room?
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that come up in bingo at some point.
Yeah. Lots of my grabless knowledge is basically from bingo. And that has a few grabless objectives. You learn
Celeste
to improvise, but... Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say Celeste lockout bingo is relatively popular, and Grabless checkpoints are one of the objectives in there. So a lot of people have Grabless knowledge from that, but you do have a few people who have been pretty dedicated Grabless runners, like Crichter and Fell.
Yeah.
Who went ahead and labbed a lot of the more specific stuff to make it easier or faster.
I'm still pushing for Grabless sub 30. Hopefully one day we can see that.
Definitely doable with just relative to normal any percent. The fact that there are difficult tricks makes it a lot more possible to just lose huge chunks of time in places like the latter half of Ridge and 2,500 meters later in Summit.
Yeah. So here in normal 90%, I would be doing the demo dash to skip the key here, but it's basically frame perfect in this, and I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I remember Fel being very happy about pause buffering being a thing because of making certain setups for Grabless a lot easier, but even then, it's still pretty tough getting things set up in Grabless. So going around and getting the key totally makes sense.
Pretty awkward last room with elevator shaft here.
Oh yeah, normally you try and do a little climb jump in that one spot. But having to do that high wall bounce does make things a little bit extra awkward. Presidential suite doesn't seem to be too bad though.
Yeah.
Recall.
Most of it's basically the same outside of the one room I died on. Nice. Clean last room there.
Doing pretty well overall so far. Definitely solid time for Grabless and like marathon settings so far here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the chapter where in the second half of it, things start to get extra complicated for Grabless. Nothing's too bad for Start or Shrine, though, if I recall. Is that correct there?
Start is fine. Shrine you can do first block plus. I probably will attempt it.
Oh yeah, because your options would be either the grounded ultra or taking the block the whole way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in normal enemies I saves like 1 to 2 seconds, and here it's closer to 5 or 6.
Yeah, so that'd be pretty huge. The strat that's going to be happening is going to be basically doing what's called a grounded ultra, trying to get a lot of distance for a really late jump with a lot of speed off the ledge up ahead here.
Yeah, this is really precise. It is used in top level enemies though, because it's fast. I'll give it a few more tries. Ah, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, there are a
But
couple
this is
intermediate
another
strats.
very
Oh,
hard
yeah,
room. Yeah, you go on.
Yeah. So this room right here with the bubbles right here, just getting through that is just like a one frame, so frame perfect demo dash, managing to squeeze through it there.
Yeah, I think I got a first try, which is nice.
But the most, let's see here. What would you say is the hardest about cliff face later on a bit here?
Cliff face it's kind of a knowledge check more for the gameplay check. Like if you don't know how to do it, it's really hard, but if you do, it's mostly manageable. I guess I'm trying to think how to describe it for like the room
yeah,
app
'cause
is
it's
a bit more
really-
super.
Mm-hmm. As long as you have something set up, yeah, it's not too bad. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. This auto scholar, you have to just awkwardly keep jumping against it. Kind of funny. Oh, yeah. And I assume you have to be on the very right end of the spring to do without climb jumping. Yeah.
Trying to transition into Grabless movement after only having done a day of runs for this, though, has been going pretty well so far, so...
Yeah. it's very hard to go from like 100% with grabs to grabless any percent in like a few hours. Yeah, I'd say it's fine so far.
Oh, and would you be able to get a Discord stream going? I realize I have stream delay, and that's making it hard to commentate properly. If that's too much to solve right now, we can just keep going as is, though. Oh, that was, I am just, it's a little bit weirder trying to commentate with stream delay. I was just seeing if maybe Vapo would be able to get a Discord stream going up as well, but it's alright. Thank you.
So this is what Prof mentioned earlier in how like the Grabless variant can still let you grab onto walls and climb jump, but only if you buffer it out of something like this.
Yeah, there's some really weirdly specific cases where you do need to do it. So thankfully, it is something that the game lets you do. Like coming out of a red bubble, you're able to grab a wall, or if you are in the middle of a dash, you're able to do like a climb jump.
I think so. Yeah, it's very useful for bathroom in particular.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then another thing about Grabless that's going to be coming up towards the end of the chapter here is we do have to rescue Theo. So the only way that you would be able to do that is if Grabless variant lets you grab Theo. So that is something that you'll see.
Yeah. Funny enough, the Theo checkpoint itself is like almost unchanged by Grabless. Like with the variant, since you don't actually grab onto walls because you're holding Theo all the time. Yeah, there's some awkward rooms in Unraveling here where usually I would like manipulate Seekers by grabbing onto walls and I can't do that here. So it's a bit awkward.
They were pretty nicely so far though. And search is still relatively simple and short checkpoint for 5A any percent here, except for the last room. So a few rooms ahead here. It's going to be a block that you have to get the Seeker to go and break for you so you can hit a coin to open the door to the end of the room. But doing that without being able to grab the block is a little bit more annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. I think I got a first try there. Nice. Yeah, now you can just enjoy normal 5A Theo. A very cool checkpoint.
Yeah, the movement for Theo in particular is really, really fun. Some of the stuff that you get to do with Theo that you're seeing here is if you get a lot of speed during a dash, and then you cancel that by grabbing Theo, you get to keep that speed and just kind of go flying with him for a while. So that's used really often in this checkpoint to fly through some of the rooms.
Yeah. Definitely one of the coolest deck points in the run. Wish it was 90%.
Yeah. At least it still makes its way into red berries, though.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
A little bit of a fumble in the eyeball room, but solid overall.
I think one of the main things Grabless affects of fear is backups, like, because usually if you're just doing it normally, you don't need to grab, but cases where you mess up your main strat, grabbing can be helpful.
Then I think 6A here is also relatively unchanged,
Yeah.
since most of it's going to be... Yeah, you don't particularly need to grab here too much either, so this is not too bad of a level. But when we get to Summit, that's where there's going to be the a couple more points of extra difficulty when it comes to Grabless versus normal any percent.
Yeah. Hollows does have a few kind of tricky rooms, and one spot where I take a different route to normal any percent, because it makes it easier. So usually I'd grab onto the block, but that's awkward Grabless. So I'll just do that instead. Yeah, and then basically I have to awkwardly neutral up against the Kevin for a few seconds. It might take me a few tries. Ah.
And not the kindest of rooms right here, trying to stay neutral in the exact same spot when the block is flinging you constantly.
Yeah, so this is what I mentioned earlier with taking a different route here, because the top row has a really hard dash at the end, if you want to skip the grabs.
Instead, you get this nice little, what people jokingly call DLC room with feather and spinners all over there, right?
Yeah, you never see usually outside of bingo. It's too much the funny interaction with Grabless only. It actually saves time over not having a variant on. I think at least.
It's definitely interesting. It's about that first falling Kevin way back at the top of the room there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Get pulled down.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of a speed boost in the bottom here. Rock bottom here. there aren't too many places where you would really need to grab, so a lot of this is just going to be nice, clean movement that's really similar to what you'd see in a typical 6A. Just dash at battle in, get bounced back, repeat.
Yeah. And enjoy the music.
My first playthrough, I think this song was my favorite out of the whole soundtrack.
Maybe the same for me, honestly. It's very good.
Almost never get to hear it anymore.
Yeah, 'cause 6A is delegated to Hundo and all chapters.
Yeah, 6B and ended up being pretty much the slightly faster chapter for every other category, except the ones, of course, that you need to play 6A. So skipping out on 6A and this music is a little bit sad. And just makes the moments where you do get it a little nicer, I'd say now.
Yeah.
Getting into the later portion of the battle end fight where things start to ramp up and everything's flying across the screen. Got all the blocks moving. Nearly to the end, but
Yeah.
the rooms get a little bit longer over here and a little bit more chaotic, but still trivial for Epic Gamer Vapo.
Yeah, we should be fine. Got a great atlas like over. I don't trust it.
Nice. Level up. And now I got to the part where you start to have two dashes. And story-wise, you have Madeline and Badeline sort of reconciling, which you could judge by the, well, I guess resolution. It would be the name of this checkpoint. I had them backwards for a second. So they've resolved their differences, and they're working together now to climb the mountain. And up next, we're gonna have Summit.
Yeah, so now we have a lot more 2-dash gameplay. Which, for the most part, makes Grabless a bit more manageable, but it does have some very hard rooms near the end.
There is one room, the one that is the big problem when it comes to playing Grabless. That would be the last room of the 2,500 meters checkpoint. There is going to be a point where Vapo is going to need to do a pixel perfect dash in both the X and Y axes. And that's the only way to get through the first half of the room. And even after that, it can still be a little bit difficult, so...
Yeah. I have died after getting that dash on good pace. Very heartbreaking.
Yeah, hopefully it'll go well this time around. Crossing my fingers. We still have a few minutes before then. Now that we just get to revisit all of the little gimmicks of each of the chapters one by one as we're going back and climbing up the mountain again.
Yeah. This is the one room in the game where I think you can't complete it no matter what without grabbing. Like, you need the Grabless variant to activate the block.
The one problem that True Grabless has over, or what people call True Grabless has over just Grabless variant. Well, I guess there's also Theo, but
Yeah.
that one's inescapable as well. One really cool tech when it comes to dream blocks here. One of my favorite techs is this thing called a dream hyper, where if you dash or if you do a crouch dash and you jump right as you're exiting a dream block, you get to do what would be like a hyper, but basically in midair as you're exiting a dream block. So that gets you a lot of speed in this whole checkpoint here.
Yeah. Makes it a really fun checkpoint to play.
Here. It's not much worse. Yeah, no worries. If it's making the stream not work out, then that's fine. I'll work with it.
Few thousand meters here is also pretty similar to normal 80%. Except for this room, I just forgot about.
Yeah, this one gets just a little bit more annoying. We have to do
How do I do this? Okay,
just
that's
have
how.
to get a really high demo. Yeah, there we go. Fun little room. Gotta squeeze into the one spot that you can barely make it through from the end there.
Interesting. That works, I guess.
Unconventional, but we can take it.
Now we're approaching the big checkpoint. Oh, the checkpoint with the big sky room.
Mm-hmm. The last room of this checkpoint here could take as little as like 40 seconds if you manage to do really well, or if things are unlucky, could be much longer. But
Yeah.
hoping for the best here.
It went pretty well in practice beforehand.
I believe.
I can't. Is there anything going on there?
Ah. Ticker SR says, Vapo, you know you can slow down just a little, right?
Do I need to?
I don't think so. I think you're giving a good show here.
Oh, okay. See if I can get back there. Never mind. Okay, whatever. My death is purely for Ticker.
So all the pause buffering that you're seeing here work to try and get as consistent a setup as possible for this, again, pixel perfect in both the X and Y axes to get this dash over that dash block just before the spring.
Yeah. I paused my thing the shortest possible hyper B up. Oh, and I died. Okay, nice. Yeah. The shortest possible B hop and a frame on the wall to jump off of. That is too low.
Yeah, before
Okay.
the most recent. Oh.
That is the hard part. Nice, let's go.
Awesome. Okay, made it through the most difficult part of all of Grabless there then. Good job, Vapo.
Ooh. We are not fully out of the clear though.
Not quite yet, yeah, because of flag 12, was it? With the particularly awkward dash.
Yeah. This checkpoint is
Or
a few
flag
like
11.
pretty. Yeah, 11. There's a few pretty difficult flags here, which may take some time. Downdraft is pretty awkward, but mostly fine in terms of just beating it. Yeah,
the
neutrals
one
and
key tool.
yeah, you go.
Neutrals and downdraft. Yeah, the one key tool that you have in Grabless for trying to make things more normal, being neutral jumps, and doing those in downdraft when the wind is pushing you down constantly. It's kind of hard to constantly ascend with that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make it too difficult. It's a little bit more awkward.
Oh no. Yeah, there's not much grabbing here, but it's hard no matter what.
Flag 13 in of itself is a pretty infamous flag when it comes to any percent speedruns, so it's not a surprise that it can be the same at times for Grabless.
Oh, nice. First try, flag 11. That's the hard one Buff mentioned.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awkward in that you need to kind of abuse having less gravity to barely squeeze around them. Made it look easy.
And the next two flags from here are also pretty difficult. Flag 3 and flag 4. And flag 2. Oh, nice. First try there.
You're making this look like it's no problem.
Usually any percent I would consider skipping flag 2, but it's actually really hard to miss. Yeah, you have to smuggle a dash past this crystal and then get really high in the wall without grabbing, which is difficult. Ah,
Not a very fun flag, but it could be worse.
yeah. Nice, let's go. That is the last hard part of the run. It's maybe a 36? Okay, nice. GG.
GG.
That is time. I will take a 36 for how much time I had to prepare for this. And doing Kondo a few hours ago.
36 in a marathon when jumping into Grabless after not having much practice with it is definitely impressive. So, good job, Vapo.
Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, thanks Prof for commentating at such short notice.
No worries.
Oh wait, chat can't hear me. There we go. So
Happy to help.
I was saying thank you so much, Vapo, for filling in. We really appreciate it. We all do. And everyone clearly loved seeing Celeste again. And yeah, Vapo W. Yeah, thank you both.
Yeah, of course. It was fun. Thanks for having me on.
That was a pleasure. So we're probably going to now move on to Crazy Tone Dog, who'll be doing Mario Kart 64, all cups, no skips. And I guess any final words before we wrap up?
Yep. Thanks everyone for watching. Yep.
And we